Hola, ciao. My name is Sandrine Legalez and I'm the head of languages at college. I'm going to talk to you about the possibility of studying either GCSE Spanish or GCSE Italian. Many of you will want to learn a language because you want to travel to Italy or to Spain, to discover Venice or Barcelona. However, there are other reasons to learn Spanish. You will certainly be more interesting in an employer's eyes if you speak another language, and Spanish being spoken worldwide, it will be a big seller. I know it's surprising, but it will also help you to learn your own language, to understand your own language, as well as making acquiring a new foreign language in the future easier. It's also a very good way of accessing Spanish art, music, literature, and film. There is so much to discover. It's easier if you speak the language. And finally, if you apply to a very competitive university, they are very keen on seeing someone who's got a GCSE in a language. Learning Italian has got similar advantages. You might not be aware of it, but Italy represents 16% of the population of the EU and therefore has got a very strong weight in the EU economy, fourth largest economy in Europe and the seventh largest in the world, so very big in business terms. It also gives you access to all sorts of fields in tourism, fashion, car industry, food industry, in sport. Italian will be essential. So what do you need to know or be able to do before taking this course? If you have done a bit of Italian or a bit of Spanish before, that will help, but it's not essential. You can start it from scratch. If you have studied another language at GCSE, it will help. Again, not essential. If you are motivated, if you are keen on learning things every week, if you remember the reason why you're learning the language, it will take you very far. So what else do you need before you come to us? Well, it would be good to have good communication skills. It would also be good to have a good ear for pronunciation. You will be asked to be as accurate as possible in your work. A willingness to open your mouth, which in foreign languages sounds a little bit obvious. The ability to memorize vocabulary is important. Try to understand as much grammar as you can. And take an interest. I think it's a very good way of learning a language to do it through films, songs, festivals. So you will be developing your language skills doing topics, and there is quite a variety. For GCSE Spanish, you will have a mixture of familiar topics and maybe not so familiar anymore. My favorite is customs and festivals. I love that, but there are so many other interesting bits. You will be also able to talk about your life at school and college and talk about your education. In a similar way, you will be developing your skills in Italian through a list of topics. They are a little bit different from GCSE Spanish. There are more of them, but they do have very interesting things as well. They also have festivals. They have things about holidays, which when you talk about Italy, is a pretty attractive topic. And here is the rest of the topics. Some of them are quite straightforward, talking about school. Some of them can be a little bit more tricky, like the environmental issues, but all of them designed to interest you and to help you to develop your language. So you won't have coursework. It will all be assessed at the end of the year, and you will have 4 different exams on listening, speaking, writing, and reading. And you can see that it's fairly balanced because they all represent 25% of the final mark. And it is very similar in Italian, 4 different skills being assessed as well. You will have 6 lessons a week, 6 periods a week, okay? And on top of those lessons, you will be able to take part in trips. You will have access to all sorts of materials, DVDs, films, songs, anything around the foreign language. And we do have a huge amount of interactive resources on Moodle. What you will be able to do with your GCSE is to stand out from the crowd. You will be able to add it to your CV, and it will be very attractive to employers, to big companies. You will certainly be in a stronger position to find a job. You will be able to live maybe in Italy or to work in Spain. And also, if you wanted to, if you had a good grade at your GCSE, and if you were a strong linguist, you could actually take Spanish or Italian A-level as well. What do our students say about the GCSE course? They're usually very enthusiastic. They tend to be small classes and they tend to be full of very motivated students. Here is what a couple of them have got to say about the GCSE Spanish course and the GCSE Italian course. And remember that this is a very intense but extremely rewarding course. Lots of fun to have, lots to learn in a few months, but really worthwhile. Hope to see lots of you in September.